Greetings, citizens of the world. Following the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history, investigators are struggling to understand the gunman behind it and what his motives were. There is some stunning information about the shooter that has already come to light. His name is Stephen Paddock, and before the shooting, he was a normal guy with no criminal record, violent tendencies, political activism, terrorist ties, gun fanaticism, or any of the other typical red flags for would-be mass shooters. Stephen Paddock was a 64-year-old man living in a small retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada. He was a retired accountant and real estate investor owning a number of apartment complexes in Nevada, Texas, and California. These investments earned him millions of dollars, allowing Paddock to live a life of comfort. In his free time, Paddock enjoyed gambling. According to law enforcement officials in Nevada, he had a number of transactions related to gambling in Las Vegas in the last few weeks. Those transactions totaled in the tens of thousands of dollars, though it isn't clear at this time if they were wins or losses. He also enjoyed country music and would often visit Las Vegas to attend various concerts and shows. Paddock also had hunting and fishing licenses and had obtained a private pilot's license. The only negative event that stood out in Paddock's life was a lawsuit filed against Cosmopolitan Hotels and Resorts in 2012. For 2 years Paddock was in court citing negligence, premises liability. Ultimately, the case was dismissed. Apart from a few minor traffic violations, Paddock had no criminal record. His life was relatively normal, and he seemed to be a man who enjoyed his free time gambling, listening to music, earning his pilot's license, and going on the occasional hunting and fishing trip. His past was devoid of markers. There was nothing that would indicate this man would end up on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino with more than 10 rifles in his room rigged for rapid, automatic fire and proceed to murder approximately 59 people, and injuring more than 500. There was nothing to indicate he would have 19 other weapons stashed at his home with thousands of rounds of ammunition and a cache of explosives, according to Newsweek. Despite the initial claims by liberals that Paddock was obviously a gun nut, his brother Eric Paddock says that's not the case. He says his brother was not an avid gunman and has no military background. Paddock's brother said if anything, his brother had a couple of guns, but they were all handguns, legal. He might have had one long gun, but he had them in a safe. Eric also stated that Stephen had no reason to do what he did, saying he had no religious affiliation, no political affiliation, that he just hung out. He maintained his brother was normal. His life was an open book. It's all in public record. Once again, there is nothing. He went to college. He had a job, Paddock's brother said. Las Vegas shooter was a normal guy with no criminal record, violent